The county right now is opening up more shelters. They've got more shelters open because they know that they don't have enough bed space for everyone here. Why is the city shutting down villages? Shelters are great. Shelters extend lives. They keep people alive during emergency weather conditions. Villages save lives every day. Villages take people who are dying out there. You know what? It's not only during the winter that folks on the street die. And the coroner has now made homelessness a reason for death. So let's get people off the street. Let's do everything we can. Let's not narrow it down to just a couple of things. Let's open it up. Let's get some villages going so that way people can be safe.
So do you have any targets at the city or county that you're calling on?
I would especially want to talk to Amanda Fritz. If Amanda Fritz, Amanda, I would love if we could just sit down and talk.
Can you say who Amanda Fritz is?
Amanda Fritz is the city commissioner over parks. And so Amanda, you know, I know we probably stepped on your toes a bit, and I apologize for that, but the fact is that we've got lives out here. We've got people dying. Out here in this area, we had 4 people die before the winter kicked in again. We need help. We need your help. Please, would you sit down and talk to us?
What will you be asking when you sit down?
We want to ask and see if there's a way that we can work out a space to put our village at. The thing is, Amanda, is that you've got hundreds, thousands of people on your land already. They're there right now. Why don't we go ahead and take some of the space and use it to get those people off of your land? Let's take a space so that way we can move them off, so that way they're not using up your space anymore.
What have been the excuses as to why that can't happen so far? Do they have any?
Up to this point, they will not talk to us. We send them emails, we send them requests, and they don't respond back to us.
What kind of public comment, if any?
The public comments that we got is mostly about the village that we took over protected land, which we did not. We did not take over protected land. This is industrial land, and we set up here protecting the environment. We were here to protect the businesses and protect the land. And in fact, actually, we noticed over here that somebody, since we left in the last few days, has put up a hole in one of the fences over here. If we were still here, that wouldn't have happened, because we are here to protect the businesses and to protect the land. Second thing that they were saying is that we are trying to put down the work that the city and the county are doing. We're not putting them down at all. We appreciate all the work that the city and county has been doing. We think that it's great work. It's just not enough. There's a bridge between the services that the city has offered and the people on the street, and that bridge is villages. That bridge is getting people into a secure place so that way they can access the services, because right now they're having a hard time accessing services while they're being swept every couple weeks.
So after today, what is the next step, and how do you want people to plug into your work?
We'll go. Next step is we'll be going back to City Hall, and hopefully we'll be talking to Amanda Fritz, and we will continue to be out there. And we are still looking for a place where we can set up for maybe a year and show people this model works. This is essential to Portland.
Can you walk people or talk people through while we're all out here today and what the spirit of the day is?
The spirit of the day is to let Village of Hope become Village of Hope. To let the people of Village of Hope and the other people out here freezing to death have someplace safe, warm, and stable. And to let Amanda Fritz and Ted Wheeler know that we're not giving up. We're not going to lay down and die. We're not running away. We're not tucking our tail. We are proceeding forward because we need a place to be.
Yes.
We need to be stable and safe, and we know that our Village of Hope will give us that.
Yes, there are a lot of services that are available, and you should be tapping into that.
The services that are available are only available to people that fit the criteria.
Okay.
I don't fit the criteria.
Okay.
I'm disabled, but I don't have disability yet because they keep sweeping us and I keep moving around. They lose track of us, so they cancel our appointments. And to try to keep up with that is almost unbearable. But there are a lot of people that do fit that criteria, but it doesn't suit them. It's not It's not what they need. What we need is independence.
Yes.
And independence means to do our own walk of life, you know, not dictated by somebody else that's never lived our life. You know, I have one schedule that I keep. You know, opposed to Thumper has a schedule that he keeps. Steve has a schedule that he keeps, but none of them are city scheduled. You know, the people who want to dictate our life have never lived our life. They don't have a clue what we go through on a day-to-day basis. And if you know anything about being homeless, it is just that, a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
We never can't plan ahead. We have a hard time with scheduling because you never know where you're going to be. You know, one night we could be in a shelter, but then the next night they could have the shelter closed because somebody says it's not cold enough. Well, if you lived out here one night, you'll know if it's cold enough.
Yes.
And we need more shelters because they're overflowing. You know, I'm going to a shelter tonight just so I can show my support and see if I can help out in any way. I'm a volunteer for the overnight shelters, and
you.
so I've taken the training. And even though I'm homeless, doesn't mean I can't help the homeless.
Yes, yes.
That's the whole thing, is helping each other out till we have something better. And the Village of Hope was our better.
Yes.
You know, and we need it. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to have it. We're not here to hurt anybody or to screw anything up or to take away from. We're here to build, you know, productivity in the people that are on the street that don't have it any other way.
Yes. One of the things that I know that they've said is that this is sensitive land, environmentally sensitive land. Can you talk about that?
That is totally untrue. This is undeveloped land. It is not private. It's not a waterway. It's not, you know, it's not a refuge. This piece that this piece we were staying at is an industrial undeveloped land, and which means we can develop on it and do it properly. You know, we had our platforms up off the ground to keep from, you know, killing what's coming up, you know, the new stuff. We're willing to help in any way we can to help with all that. We had, you know, our garbage, we had a dumpster, we had a porta potty, you know, we had everything we needed to keep from damaging the land, because that's not what our objective is. Our objective is to live.
Yes.
You know, to live day to day like everybody else, so that we can have productive lives like everybody else. Right now, none of us, you know, there's a lot of us that are homeless that do work.
Yes.
You know, and a lot of them that don't but want to, and the ones that want to can't seem to get a foot in, you know, because
You have to have an address.
You have to have an address. You have to have a place to shower every day, you know, or every other day, you know, and a place to be safe and call our own. You know, and this place gave that to us. It gave us safety, it gave us camaraderie, and I mean, we had our own little community, you know, and that's what we need.
Before you were swept.
Before we were swept.
And can you say what a sweep is, please?
A sweep is where badges come in, police, or the rangers or whoever, and tell us that we have to leave. And they give us a certain amount of time, which is not very long, and we have to pick up and we have to get everything out of here before they take it. Because when they take it, we don't get it back.
Anything else that you want people to know?
That we are Village of Hope. We are people too. We have a heartbeat just like everybody else, and all we want is a chance to prove ourselves and prove that we are human and we are good humans. And we just want to live in the world like everybody else and have a little bit of something.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. There are managed and managing camps, and I was just hoping you could talk a little bit about your expertise.
I think it's absurd for people, the city officials and police, to bring up the negative aspect of people's lives. I mean, if they want to shop and compare, you can bring up negative aspects that people live in houses and apartments. Like recently, this man and his wife kept 12 children and starved them inside their house. You don't see that happening in no tent. But also self-management indicates that people's life can't be managed. You have to manage the situation. You can't manage nobody's life. And once you got the situation intact, things will fall in order. So self-managing in government means that we know what's best for us. They don't. So we know what's going to take for us to get productive and back into the quote-unquote mainstream of society if we want to. And if we don't, we still can create these self-managed camp, village, tent cities where it's cheaper on the public's money. It's cheaper to have these because at the self-managed camp, it's like $1,200 to $2,200 to pay for the water, the electric, the garbage, the porta potties getting done. Now you got a shelter.
Yes.
It has to be in a certain geographical location where only men can go here, women can go here, and then do you have your pets? And what about the LGBT community? What about the emancipated youth? They're not looking at the whole picture. They're just looking at something that they're gonna throw us in a warehouse. Also, the statement that's being made is that it's overcrowding the shelters where when we go into the neighborhoods to sleep, they don't want us in the neighborhood. When we go into the business district to sleep, they don't want us in the business district. When we go into the industrial district, they don't want us there. So now we in free open space and they trying to tell us we can't go there.
Yes.
Where could we go?
Yes.
I say let's go back into the neighborhood of these politicians so their neighbors can see us
Okay.
and maybe have an uproar.
What are some of the difficulties that arise that you think that people should know about so that if other people who are watching want to self-manage, what are some tips so that they might avoid some of those pitfalls?
The difficulty there is right with getting people to believe in themselves that they can do this again because they've been downtrodden and belittled by the traditional
Very low
shelter
self-esteem.
worker and giving them self-esteem that we need them. No, they need us because if we don't visit those shelters, they out of work and they'll be in line with us. So they need to start treating us and educating us and giving us the proper materials to get back into society, as they say. And another thing is that the houseless people look at the people who are in charge and they have a habit of emanating them and starting to treat people the same way they being treated. And we got to break that and retrain them and say everybody is equal, just with different responsibility. And finding a location where they feel comfortable at and letting them know when you come to our site, whatever you did in the past is forgotten. This is your chance to redo yourself. I mean, we recycle paper, we recycle glass, we recycle wood, so why can't we recycle knowledge
Sure.
in the mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the first casualties of being homeless is self-esteem.
Yeah.
That's one of the first casualties. And you can't get anybody up out of the gutter without at least starting to believe in yourself and that you're a worthy human being again. And that's part of the self-governing thing. It gives them that simple sense of accomplishment. Okay?
Exactly.
Not only that, but their peers look to them and that's who they'll want to emulate. I mean, that's because they see this person that they know was laying over here in the gutter last
Yes,
week
yes, yes.
is actually accomplishing something positive. The community sees the negative because that's what the community wants to see. Granted, just like anywhere else, you do have that, and you're going to have that. The key to that is not necessarily weeding it out, but working it out, educating them that there is another way. Hey,
We've been seeing people come by today. Some of them are supporters. What can we do to turn everybody into supporters that comes by?
Well, I tried to get eye contact and wave to them, and got a couple of number ones today and a couple of horn honkers, which is awesome.
Yes.
So,
So it seems like people's minds are changing.
I do believe that there's probably a large contingent of people that are for us.
Yes.
I really believe that. I wish they would turn out more, but
Okay. Well, how do you think they what we could do that would make them turn out?
well, we're kind of in the middle of a media blitz. We've been hitting the city council meetings. And getting it out there. We're on TV once in a while. Steve and I just did a podcast the other day. Carrie and Thumper did another one. People are giving us opportunities to speak out. A lot of the local media is.
What about people who feel like the city is already doing all that they can, and that the people who are doing this are sort of acting outside of the acceptable bounds?
Well, that's probably the fine line. What is the acceptable balance?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Help houseless people or don't help them? I mean, that's an easy question for me, but it seems they don't seem to get it. Like I said, I really wish I knew what they're thinking once in a while.
Okay.
Sometimes I think like our first action here, it kind of, my opinion was that we were defying Ted's will. Like it wasn't about the property or anything. It's how dare you defy my word? You know?
Ah.
So I kind of took it as a personal thing. I think he probably did too.
Yeah, but only one of you was housed.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a little bit of power imbalance.
But I mean, Amanda was homeless at one time, and she should really turn that to. I think that she'd be a lot more popular council person if she brought that out more. I found that out when I was in Occupy. She addressed the assembly and actually admitted that she was homeless at one time.
So why is she forgetting her roots here? What is that about?
Yeah, I don't know. You get spoiled when you're in the house.
Ooh, okay. All right. So what's next? What do you want people to know? Anything?
I want them to know that we're out here and we're not going to give up.
Okay.
We're doing it. We're fighting the fight. We're going to do it. We're going to see an end to this, and hopefully we can make a difference.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much
Okay.
for giving us the chance.
Yes.